From memes to GIFs to tweets, social media in the sports world brings us together, makes us laugh, and gives us a platform to connect with other fans. And the nominees for the best social media in 2020 are Mikko Rantanen's Instagram, Paul Millsap's really amazing magic tricks on Instagram, at Rocky's Twitter, Kareem Jackson's Twitter account for dunking on haters after a game.
All right, those were the nominees for the best social media in 2020. Let's kick it off with Brendan and Paul Millsap. Let's hear it, Brendan.
Yeah, Paul Millsap has the best social media. This may not be intentional, though, but I think he definitely ends up having the best social media. Here's a good glimpse of his introduction to TikTok. Just some huge dad energy here. Just massive dad. Paul Millsap was once told about his dad nickname, and he said, I actually like to think of myself as an uncle, but no, Paul, it's dad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we knew him as dad, but even if he had no nickname, and then you watched his social media, what other nickname could be ascribed to him?
Here we go with the magic, right, Eric? And this is just
ready. Where's it going to go? Where's it going? What?
He's so proud of himself.
I'd love to see the Broncos players or the Avs players do something impressive like that, but I'm not seeing it happen.
Look, the sincere argument is that Paul Millsap on social media is like the most earnest vibes you'll find. You know what I mean? This is just who
he's
Paul
also
is.
Literally a dad, right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, I've been working on my own magic.
Ooh,
I know I'm shoved in the corner here, but I'm going to make this key disappear. Whoa! Yeah, and this isn't quite magic, but it looks cool.
Who says that's not magic?
That's right, prop comedy, baby. So there's my case for Paul Millsap.
This isn't magic, but it looks cool. Should be how they describe every magic show ever.
Yeah.
Eric,
Paul Millsap definitely radiates dad energy, and you can tell in his social media accounts. I bet he has the best dad jokes out of anyone on the Nuggets roster. So we love to see it.
I mean, he put in there, even the dog is amazed. And he literally, the dog was trying to book it out of there. He had to keep grabbing the dog to keep it.
Yeah. He doesn't have the best. He doesn't have the best dad humor in the Nuggets universe. I'll say that obviously belongs to Adam Mares, our own.
Yeah, sure.
But Adam can't do magic. Who cares?
RK, what do you think of this beanie? What do you think of the beanie in the basketball jersey indoors?
Yeah, that's it's conflicting because it's like, okay, the beanie says you're cold, but the basketball jersey says, summer. It's maybe that's the vibe he was going for.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do any of you follow Paul Millsap?
No, I don't. Eric, I would actually say in 10 seconds of actual sincere, Monte Morris has a real case as well. Obviously we went Millsap for the dad jokes, but Morris is that guy who's always welcoming the new guys and just sort of he's always out there on Twitter and representing the Nuggets team and Nuggets Nation on Twitter, and I think the fans are taking a liking to him for that reason as well.
I feel like Jamal Murray had a case here. I feel like social media posts are really heady.
Oh. Yeah. There was a big argument to make for Jamal Murray, I think, but it just seemed easier to present the Paul Millsap case visually, I think.
Well, I just feel like I would have easily voted for him, but his account went dark. I think he deleted it for some reason. So it's difficult to say that he wins the award when his account is deactivated for some reason.
Yeah, I think he got into a hairy situation or something.
Well, I want to die. Next.
All right, and on that note, let's send it to RK. RK, you want to talk about Mr. Kareem Jackson? Let's hear it.
Yeah, K-Jack is good because, it took us a while to get through here, but K-Jack will go in after a game and just dunk on everyone who said something bad about him. The best example of this was last year after they beat his former team, the Texans. It didn't fall into this year's category, but there are all these Texans fans trying to tweeting at him, and he just went through and dunked on 100 of them just consecutively. So he very much has petty social media down to a T, and I like petty social media.
I will admit, petty social media is my favorite type of social media. When you can be a petty king or queen, you have to do it. Everybody loves the savagery. I think Kareem Jackson is definitely a good example of that. And it's always nice to, athletes put up with a lot from their fans. So when they kind of have a chance to chirp back and to clap back, you love to see it because
other fan bases, it's the best. They're pent up energy and they just lash out. It's great.
Yes, and they're competitive by nature.
If any of you were a pro athlete, is that how you'd handle your social media? You would keep it solely to dunk on opposing fans after games?
I'd like to say no, but yes.
I like that you think that I have control over how I handle my social media versus it just being things that fall out of my head. I handle it the exact same way.
Eric would be a mess. Eric would be a mess. No PR.
I would be canceled. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Yes, in the age of canceling, it is very surprising to me that Eric is still allowed anywhere on the internet.
Great take. I think about this every day.
Yeah, I think about it too. I'm Teflon somehow. I don't know what happened.
100% a liability to DNVR, but we love you anyway.
And like Brendan, I think about this every day.
Really not.
How do I have another one?
Like Brendan's just like making some breakfast here, starting my day. I can't believe Eric hasn't been canceled yet.
Yeah. Well, it's despite his best efforts. Like
what has Eric done today that we're gonna have to try and distance ourselves from?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I did.
All right. So that was the case for Mr. Jackson. Now we're gonna pass it to AJ and his nomination of Mikko Rantanen's Instagram account.
So this is I don't follow too many of the Avs players because they're hockey players and they're just by nature kind of boring creatures. But Mikko is such a goofy and lovable little brother personality inside the locker room, and it completely carries over to his social media presence. Because if anybody was paying attention to his social media, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to like pull it up on here, but his Instagram stories while he was working out, getting ready to return to play over the summer between the shutdown and then the playoffs when they came back, it's very much like this because it's all him working out and using his dog as a prop. Nothing was better than the day he was actually weightlifting his dog. He was just like doing curls with the dog, and that's just how he rolls. And then we saw right before they came back to play, World Junior Championships was going on, Finland and Sweden, and back and forth on his Instagram and Landeskog's and Burakovsky's Instagram. They were all on each other's because they were hanging out watching the game, and he got the last laugh when Finland beat Sweden. And I just their interaction together and how adorable he is with his dog puts him in the here you go. Right here. This is the best.
I will say using a dog in social media is a strong strategy because you appeal to a very wide variety of an audience. You got the kids who love the dogs. You got the females who love the dogs. You got dog lovers. And so I will admit that the dog is a strong social strategy.
One could argue it's cheating, Mac, but whatever.
It's true. It's not like you don't have to learn a dog, but you do have to learn magic, right?
Yeah,
buy a dog.
Good argument.
But I mean, who doesn't love looking at a dog? Like they just bring you so much happiness.
Yeah, but who couldn't do that? So you really just buy a dog. That doesn't make you a social media star.
Yeah, but you have to have a cute dog that's willing to participate, and that dog was into that.
Unlike Paul Millsap's.
Yeah, Paul Millsap's dog was trying to book it out of there. Mikko's dog was very happy to partake.
I will say,
willing to participate is important.
To fully appreciate any Av on social media, you have to follow Instagram comments because they all comment on each other's posts, and they're usually hilarious.
Yeah.
And it is a large feat that Mikko is active on any platform of social media because, as you mentioned, AJ, hockey players are notoriously non-willing participants in the social media hemisphere. It's hard to kind of get a read on their personality sometimes. So the fact that Mikko obviously has built a strong Instagram account and includes his adorable puppy are all pluses in my book.
I would also like to give special shout out to Ryan Graves dunking on me on Twitter and sicking the entire province of Nova Scotia after me for 72 hours. Not a great social media presence, but that was definitely life-altering.
Yes, I can imagine.
So sorry, Nova
Do we get the
Scotia.
second part of that story, or like what happened? Do we have to Do I have to say what happened?
Avs fans remember.
Okay. Well, hopefully everyone watching is an Avs fan and remember.
I I remember.
Remind me not to tweet at Mr. Gravy at any point in the future. All right. Capping this thing off, I'm going to wrap it up with my case for the entire @Rockies Twitter account. As the director of social media at DNVR, I consider myself a social media connoisseur. Therefore, my opinion is better than all of yours. But the Colorado Rockies not only have an amazing Twitter account, but it is one of the best Twitter accounts in baseball. They are constantly revered for the content that they come up with. It's creative. You never know what's going to happen next. They come up with themes for games. One game they tweeted entirely in emojis. Another game was office themed where they used nothing but the material from The Office. It's innovative. It's stuff we've never seen before. It constantly raises the bar. You know, in social media, there's a lot of trends that happen where people will jump on the trends and want to be a part of it. But the Rockies are an account that make those trends that other people want to be a part of. It's always fun to watch. When you log on, you never know what you're going to get, especially during games. And I think my favorite moment from Rockies Twitter this past year was when they absolutely dunked on the Texas Rangers' new ballpark. There it is, the historic tweet that they actually had to delete because it was too savage. And Major League Baseball, specifically No Fun Rob Manfred, said it was a no-go. They absolutely destroyed the Texans ballpark, which looks like a barn. They were on the money. It was not only savage, but it was accurate. It was hilarious. And this is just the kind of stuff you come to expect. But the best part about the Rockies is that they have a sense of humor, and not only can they dunk on other teams, but they can also dunk on themselves. When they were blown out by the Giants this past year, they absolutely just admitted that they sucked, and there's nothing more to that. So not only are they funny, but they can dunk on themselves and other people as well.
So I have to disagree with something here. I think they get minus points for the Texas Rangers tweet because they deleted it.
Yeah, it's true.
That might be like, you know, they won this last year, and that might be my best case for why they shouldn't win it this year. You know, they backed down.
Yeah, and frankly, 85% of what you said about the Rockies Twitter account, that you log on, you never know what you're going to see. It's surprising every time. You know what that also describes?
The Rockies.
Paul Millsap's magic. Paul Millsap's I don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. So
you know what,
obviously,
I do know what's coming though.
Yeah.
Magic tricks.
Can we make Eric disappear from this?
So everything you said is offset by what Paul Magic.
Paul Magic.
You've done it.
And then on top of it, Paul Magic is such a delightful guy. He obviously wins.
But it's one thing to be able to dunk on other people like Kareem Jackson does, but it's another to be able to dunk on yourselves. And the Rockies have a great sense of humor. They keep it light. They keep it fun. Obviously, they know they sucked last year.
They did?
I think that was evident in their social media and the people who respond to them very unhappily. But I do think, it's unconfirmed, but I do think deleting that tweet was above their heads. I'm sure they would have left it if they could have. But, you know, sometimes when you're in a league with a commissioner that is anti-fun, those things are just out of your hands, and you got to do what the big guy tells you to. Like, if Brandon told me to delete a tweet, I wouldn't leave it up.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to say, like, oh, that's a shame that you don't have the password.
Yeah. It's like like, look, what do you matter more, your job or the principle of the matter?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's your
Yeah,
call.
like we thought you cared about social media as like an art form.
Why do you think you got hired in the first place, Mac? I couldn't keep it to myself.
You know, sometimes I ask myself that question every day, but here we are. You guys are stuck to me.
There's a lot of deep reflection that's happened on this episode of the Goaties.
Looking at the mirror here.
All right. And with that deep reflection, you've heard from us. Now let's hear from you, and let's see who won the 2020 Goaties.
And the winner is @Rockies Twitter for the second year in a row.